everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Gorilla Viewpoint. That's right, Viewpoint is part of it this week, as we are going to have the predictions for Survivor Series later on in this video. I'm joined by the lovely co-host, of course, Champagne Charlie.
Thank you.
Tazzy Josh will be giving his predictions later on in the week on Facebook on the page.
Yeah.
As he's not available for this video at present. But we're going to go straight to you, Champagne, with the news this week. You've got a couple of bits about AEW, I believe.
Yeah, a couple of bits from AEW from this past week. I've actually just found this out about 20 minutes ago. The reason why we've not been seeing Brody Lee since his loss at the dog collar match a few weeks back is because he's actually got an injury. It's an ankle injury that he's sustained. So we don't know exactly how serious it is, but obviously he's had to take time off in order to recuperate. How much longer he's going to be, I'm afraid I don't know.
Did he injure it in the match?
More on that. I think he did. Yes, I think he did. Whether he didn't seem to show it during the match, but it must have been something after the adrenaline ran down or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting this because he's coming off WWE where he was injured for a long time. Lots of injuries. You have got to beg the question whether maybe the guy needs to just maybe calm it down perhaps a little bit.
Yeah.
He's now in another position where he's injured again. It's not the company's fault. But obviously, wish him a speedy recovery. Isn't an ankle injury about 3 or 4 months, isn't it? I think
something like that. Yeah.
Fair enough. I understand someone's got a new gimmick as well over on Dark.
Yes. Now everyone's aware of the feud that happened for months between Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler. Yeah, the two biggest losers in the company. No offense to those guys, but basically it was who could get their first win first. Brandon Cutler won that feud by finally getting his first win, and since then he's also racked up another win. During that match, it also saw the end of the team of the Librarians, Leva Bates and Peter Avalon going their own way. Now, Leva Bates has continued to use the Librarian gimmick, and she actually won her first match on Dark last week. And not only that, they've stopped doing the whole shh thing. She's actually coming to the ring to music now for the first time. She's basically done the face turn from the full thing. But the story itself is on Peter Avalon. Peter Avalon is now, I think he's trying to refresh himself. So he's no longer the Librarian. He is now going by the moniker Pretty Peter Avalon, some sort of feeble attempt to be a ladies' man, that kind of thing. I suppose a very, very crap version of what Dean Malenko tried to do. So
yeah. It's a bit similar to, isn't Angel Garza doing the ladies stuff in WWE as well? But in a kind of
except he can actually put it off. Peter Avalon, he's been doing these where the camera's on him. He's looking at the camera and basically he's supposed to be addressing some sort of woman, and he's doing these feeble attempts to woo her. Like he tried to have a dinner with a woman, and it turned out to be in a service elevator because a guy came in and ruined the shots, that kind of thing. And Peter Avalon just looks at the guy like this. The guy said, "Oh, I'm just trying to go up," and Peter was like, "Get out, get out, get out!" to him. So it's The thing is, it's a weird gimmick, but
with the Librarians, obviously at first they got a lot of heat, didn't they? From their original kind of debut, and people not really liking it, and it seems that.
And the reason why they were kept together is they were dating as well. I don't know if they still are dating, but they're a legitimate couple, the two of them. So that's obviously gets the chemistry there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but look, I think it's one of those things. He's obviously got charisma, and maybe they're thinking they're going to get something out of it, eventually. But yeah, we shall wait and see. That's coming out of last week. But obviously, we move on. We talk about this week, and obviously the Wednesday night.
Moving on, yeah.
We've got 25 segments of AEW announced, by looks of it. But before that, we'll start with NXT. They've announced 2 things again. Every week it's 2 things. This week, though, is a big one, as you have the Women's Championship on the line as Io Shirai defends against Rhea Ripley. I think that'd be fantastic, personally. I think that's the right direction for that championship. But
that's going to be a great one, I think.
Yeah, same. But I think the one we're talking about a little bit more, though, is Finn Balor is returning to NXT for the first time since TakeOver 31. Is he going to vacate the belt or not? The announcement is that he will be addressing the state of the NXT Championship. Is it another vacation?
We shall see.
I really hope not.
I hope it's not. I really hope not. If not, I'll be pissed. Honestly, I'll be really, really pissed.
I don't know what they'd go back to, but that's for another time. But I'm hoping that it is just announced that he's back and that he's going to have a match very soon. And so we don't have to have another title vacation, another tournament or another match for it, because it's been a bit cursed, that belt, hasn't it, recently? But yeah, that's
Yeah,
NXT.
absolutely.
I think they're
It's a
counting on
death belt,
maybe
it
the
seems.
drawing power of Finn Balor to be enough to, get people to switch over. But AEW, what have you got?
So far, 5 matches announced, plus
Yeah,
2 vignettes. Okay, well, what's been announced so far. All right, main event for the evening on Dynamite this week, which has been announced, is TNT champion Darby Allin will team with Cody Rhodes to take on Team FTW of the FTW champion Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. And you can guess that either Taz will be either in their corner or on commentary during this
yeah, probably in
match.
the corner.
So there's that. Here's the thing. Some people are slagging off the whole FTW thing. I personally enjoy it. Okay, I've always been a Taz fan, so that's my view on it. I quite enjoy it. Brian Cage, incredible, strength. Ricky Starks, incredible athlete as well. I'm a huge fan. Next, we have the AEW Tag Team Champions. They'll be taking on the Young Bucks. Sorry, they'll be taking on a brand new team called Top Flight. They've only had 2 matches on Dark Top Flight, but they are very, very impressive. They have high flying ability as well, and it was enough for Tony Khan to basically bring them up to Dynamite pretty much straight
That's a big
away.
showing, isn't
So
it? Considering how deep that
it
tag
is,
division
yeah,
is. I think
yeah,
it's one of those where the Young Bucks, will showcase obviously that they still are the best tag team, and probably just want a simple match, following obviously Full Gear and obviously potential injuries that have happened, before that. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
yeah, of
Get them in
course.
with a fresher team, have a shorter match, and that's probably the right choice.
Next, we have the Blade from Butcher and the Blade, or Eddie Kingston's family, as going on now,
Yeah.
will be taking on the returning Pac. Pac is back.
Okay. He managed to sneak over along with
Yeah,
Pete Dunne, same plane probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But as Pat got in the face of Eddie Kingston, this is a feud I didn't know I wanted. Honestly, it really is.
The
I'd love to see
intensity
those
between
two
those
big
two,
bad.
though,
Yeah,
that's what it's about here,
those
isn't
two those two scary tough bastards in the ring
it?
would be a dream. Honestly, it really would. Yeah. Okay, next we have Kip Sabian taking on Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
reason for this match, I think, is because Kip Sabian and Miro, they've been having the feud with the best friends, haven't they? So
Yeah.
I
Oh, okay.
think this is going to. I think there's going to be a bit of a physical dissection of Orange Cassidy to try and get under the best friend's skin, from both Sabian and Miro.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I think will happen. That's what I predict anyway. Do you know what I mean? And the final match, which has been announced, is NWA Women's Championship match. Rena Deeb, the recently new champion, she'll be defending her championship against former champion Thunder Rosa.
Okay. Yeah. And Thunder
So
Rosa, she was champion for a long time, wasn't she, as well? Before this.
she was champion since pretty much the beginning of the year because
Okay.
I watched NWA Power when it was on YouTube before God dealt us a shit hand basically. But there we are. So yeah. Anyway, those are the matches. The vignettes that have been announced, obviously, are the contract signing between Kenny Omega and John Moxley. Moxley
Okay.
Omega 2, I cannot wait for. Obviously,
Wonder when
but
they
here's
can
the
do
thing: it's
that,
not going to
though.
be like. Apparently, it's been announced for a couple of weeks' time on a
That
Dynamite, which I
soon.
wasn't expecting. Yeah,
That's a bit soon. Yeah,
I
it's
wasn't.
not going to end there, though.
I was no, absolutely not. But I'm disappointed. I didn't want it to be on a Dynamite. I wanted it to be like one of their. Well, if it was a Dynamite, it would have to be like a special event Dynamite, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Because they had those like Bash at the Beach and stuff like that earlier this year. So one of those themed ones. Do you
Yeah,
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
they might obviously announce a theme to fit into it or something, maybe.
And also announced this week, the Inner Circle take Vegas. Yeah, the Inner Circle. It's interesting now that they've got these 2 new members, obviously MJF and Wardlow. There are 2 members of the Inner Circle who are not happy about it: Ortiz and Sammy Guevara. Now Ortiz, I think he'll probably fall in line because he's tag team partners with Santana, but I think this is going to lead to some sort of rift between the Inner Circle and Sammy Guevara. I think I agree. Sammy Guevara is the standout star when it comes to down to the future. Basically, you think of the business of making stars for the future. Sammy Guevara, I think, is it for
Thing
that.
is, with
So
Inner Circle as well now, you've got Jericho, MJF,
yeah,
and Sammy Guevara. You've got 3 people doing the same gimmick. Like essentially being the same person.
exactly. Yeah,
And that
Yeah,
means
so you need someone. You need someone to make the switch.
and
So
it's not going to be Jericho because he's stable, and MJF just joined.
absolutely not. Yeah,
So obviously, by positive
yeah.
elimination, it could be Sammy.
So Sammy, I'm sorry you're out, but yeah,
Well, look, it's a big
yeah,
week. Obviously, as wrestling fans, please just watch both if you want to. Watch whatever one that
yeah,
pleases you more.
absolutely.
They're not really at war.
And I also wonder, 'cause, as everything that's announced this week, I wonder if we'll see more of that Jade Cargill or something like that. Any more Shaq clues or anything like that. So
Yeah, I think if it is Shaq, they're going to rush it. Do it again to get the story going. Because I think the problem they
yeah,
would have known happened with WWE was WWE said it, waited 6 months, and then he was like, no. So I think now they're like, look, we'll
no,
get
they're
you.
not going to do it.
We'll get you.
Yeah, so don't.
Appear next week. Done.
Yeah, so
So
don't make the same mistake. That's all I can say.
okay, well that's interesting. We are going to move on to the viewpoint part of the episode now, as we are looking
Okay.
at a Big Four event, of course. WWE's Survivor Series, the best of the best. This year's Survivor Series has 6 matches of Grand Warfare, as they dub them, and will also feature the final farewell of The Undertaker, which we will close with talking about The Undertaker later after we do the matches. The matches
Yeah.
first, though, and we're going to start with the match between the WWE Champion and the Universal Champions, of course. Raw spoiler,
okay,
sorry.
right.
Drew McIntyre is the new WWE Champion and will be taking on the Universal Champion.
I called it.
You did call it last week. He was taking on
Yes,
Roman
yeah.
Reigns. Now, this obviously is a big match. Drew, since they faced the last time, and that was at WrestleMania, I believe, and throughout the summer of 2019. Believe it or not, that feels like it was 10 years ago. Drew's obviously grown into a phenomenal star of his own, and his shoulders have barely touched the canvas. So it's a hard one to predict. What do you think? Who's got this?
This is going to be really, really tough because I love the storyline that Roman Reigns has been doing. The whole tribal chief, head of the family stuff. So, and I love Drew McIntyre as well. They're both such great stars right now. But because of how they're booking Roman Reigns currently as this indestructible chief, I can't see him taking a fall yet. Do you know what I mean? They want to save that for coming into Mania territory, I think. So for that reason alone, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns for the win.
Yeah, I've gone for that too. I think Reigns, he can't lose yet. And
not yet. No, it's too soon because if they do that right now, it'll kill the momentum dead.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, I'm going to go with Reigns on the basis that he can't lose yet. Drew obviously has won this week already, and could obviously take the loss. And I wouldn't put it past them to obviously there's a lot of shenanigans going on Raw at the moment. Obviously with Miz and Money in the Bank and the Fiend, and Orton obviously still out for revenge also too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons that Drew could lose. There's not many reasons why Roman Reigns could lose. So I'll go for Roman Reigns. That was quite an easy one to decide upon. Next, we move over to the tag team champions going at it. So the New Day were successful in their title defense last night on Raw, and so they will face the Street Profits, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. What do you think? New Day or Profits?
This is really tough, really, because they're both teams are kind of similar. You know what I mean, with their kind of gimmicks. They're great counter opposites of each other. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Because the Street Profits are a fresher team, that kind of thing, I don't think the New Day have the same momentum since they got split from 3 to 2. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to give it to the Street Profits.
Street Profits. I flip-flopped this one quite a lot, actually, because obviously before obviously, I was hoping, to be fair, that it would end up being, Hurt Business against Street Profits. I was really hoping that. Just so, because it's hard when it's 2 face tag teams in this one. But I'm going to give the Street Profits. I think in the New Day, obviously, they've got their record setting with their number of reigns, how many reigns, what they've done, how long they've been together, all the kind of hyperbole you can give them. And I think the Street Profits should need a little bit more. So we're also in agreement with that one, which is getting scary now. Let's see then. Let's see if we can.
I know.
If we can split the chat.
See if we can break it here. Yeah.
as we're going to move on to the battle of the kind of mid-card champions, I guess, so to speak, as we have the Intercontinental Champion on the SmackDown side of things, Sami Zayn, taking on the United States Champion, Bobby Lashley, from the Raw side. Where do you think this one's going?
Here's what I think is going to happen, okay? Bobby Lashley is going to dominate the matchup. He's going to throw Sami Zayn from pillar to post all over the place. But here's what's going to happen. Because the Hurt Business have been feuding for weeks now with Retribution, you know what I mean? I think at the last moment where it looks like Bobby Lashley's going to put it away, they'll appear, put him out of his misery, and drag Sami Zayn's lifeless carcass over the top of him to get the free count.
Okay, so you think Sami's winning then by
Yeah.
interference? See, look,
Yeah.
I thought because Sami Zayn were doing this kind of, it's everything's unfair, everything's against him kind of gimmick, conspiracy theory kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
And he won
Yeah, of
last
course,
week against
yeah.
Apollo Crews on SmackDown by count
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I thought maybe they might try their shenanigans itself like this. And obviously, I was going on the basis that I thought the Hurt Business would be the tag team champion. The Hurt Business could beat maybe the Street Profits, then Lashley could have a shenanigan loss. But now that it's only Lashley representing the Hurt Business, I'm going to have to say Lashley winning. And if there isn't going to be anything from Retribution,
All right, fair enough.
of anything, yeah. So we're split on that one. All right, we'll now delve into our first Survivor Series match to discuss. This is the one that has the least amount of people announced for it.
Right.
It's the Women's Survivor Series match, so 5 and 5.
Right.
On Team Raw, we have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, and now again, spoiler if you haven't seen Raw yet, Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce have replaced Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. This is because Mandy Rose has suffered a legitimate injury. Obviously, wish her a speedy recovery, and so they decided for now to remove the tag team. And they'll be facing Team SmackDown, which at the moment there are 2 members to be confirmed. And so we've got Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and then obviously 2 to be confirmed. So we'll discuss, have you got any predictions on who you think will get those last 2 spots? And obviously who you think's going to win?
This one I've really not been paying that much attention to, apart from the table smashing, that kind of thing. But I'd like to see some sort of Cinderella story here. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see Lana be the last survivor, because of all that crap she's been going through with the going through the tables week after week after week. I'd like to see some kind of solitary justice there. Do you know what I mean? So Lana being the sole survivor and Raw picking up the win. And then she goes through a table a 10th time.
Imagine after being a sole survivor with this. Who do you think is going to be the remaining 2 members on Team SmackDown?
That's a toughie.
It is. I think Billie Kay's got to be in there.
I think she has, so it can match out with Peyton Royce.
Is Naomi on Raw or SmackDown? I don't know anymore. Naomi.
I think she's on. And I believe just because of her status in the WWE, I think Natalya should be in there.
Yeah, Natalya's been trying to get into the match for a few weeks, and they had a situation last week with Chelsea Green, who debuted and got in. And
of course. So
it was looking like she would have been an obvious pick to be in the team. Do like a sort of
obviously
hot shot.
Not now. That's the
obviously
thing.
not now.
So,
so I'm not too sure really. I think Billie Kay will definitely be in the match. I can't think who else there is. Natalya. I guess Billie Kay and Natalya then. I think that's literally because it's all that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So
unless they are going to call someone up for
the next match.
But yeah, my actual prediction for the actual match though is while I think Lana will that Lana will be involved with Nia Jax's and or Shayna Baszler's eliminations to this contest. Yeah. But I don't think it's in the lead to the finish. I personally think, and this is my bold prediction, it's very bold.
Okay.
Is Bianca Belair is going to eliminate every single person on the Raw team. She will pin them all. Not at the same time, not that bold, but I think Bianca Belair. This is where Bianca Belair's push is coming. I think it's coming because she does all this. She's the fastest, bestest, strongest, est. Prove it.
Now prove it. Yeah.
Survivor Series. Eliminate the entire Raw team, and that'll be a way to go. Even if that doesn't happen, I still think that she won't be pinned. And so, for that reason, I think Team SmackDown will be winning. So next, sticking with the women's side of things, then you've got Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on the Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Where do we go with this one?
This for me is a no-brainer. I mean, I like both of these competitors, but it has to be Oscar for me. The only reason being is there's this unfinished business with Sasha Banks and Carmella now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Her jump attacking all the time. So I think it has to be either some sort. I don't think she's. I don't think she's. Carmella's going to appear in the ring. I think there's going to be like she'll come out on the entranceway, the
Music or
music will
something.
play, that kind of thing, and then Sasha Banks will just walk backwards right into that Oscar lock. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think very similar. To be fair, Asuka doesn't lose really, and
nah,
she hasn't really had a proper kind of match, I guess, for a little while now. So yeah, I think Asuka. I think it'll be a very good match though, and I hope this is one that does get given time. But it's hard in these kind of shows because obviously the two Survivor Series matches, and obviously how long Undertaker's going to
yeah.
take, might limit that. But yeah, I'm going to
Who
go with
knows? Yeah,
an Asuka win here. So
yeah.
SmackDown. So we get to our main event. Team Raw.
Here we go.
AJ Styles, the captain, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. They're taking on Team SmackDown, which is Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and to be
One
confirmed.
more to be confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What do you think?
They have. Well, I've been loving the story of Captain AJ Styles trying to keep his team to get
Yes.
along. Do you know
He's
what I
very
mean?
dysfunctional
So,
team.
so because I'm in, and it's normally the dysfunctional teams that usually get success. I've noticed
Yeah.
in the past. So for that, I want to see Team Raw put it together and pull out the win. But here's what I want to happen.
Okay.
Here's what I want to happen in the final thing. I want that big giant bastard who's following AJ Styles around to cause the win. You know what I mean? Do some big giant move to whoever's the last person on SmackDown and just throw AJ Styles on top of him. Pick the ref up wherever he may be and throw him down to count the damn thing.
The thing is, he's not been very physical with the superstars.
No, I
They
know
hit.
that's the thing, but
So that's what
I
I'm
know
thinking.
that's the
Maybe this
thing
might.
that
Yeah. You might want something.
yeah, just some big clothesline or some big fucking big boot or something like that. You know what I mean? Just something. Yeah.
And who do you think will be the mystery person on, what mystery, the last entrant on SmackDown side? I think it'd be Murphy, because then I think
Oh,
Seth and Murphy having a match on
as
SmackDown.
all right,
It's not been
Murphy.
announced. It's not, by the way, it's not been announced that that's for a spot. But I can only imagine if obviously Murphy does well, or there is a story reason as to why Murphy gets put in the match, that would make sense. But
Yeah,
I haven't seen where else it's
Murphy. I think that Murphy. I think
announced on
yeah,
SmackDown. But anyway, yeah, of this match, I think that Team Raw are winning. I think
yeah,
this because Roman, basically, I think it's linked to. I think Jay and Roman are very linked, and so I think if Roman
yeah,
wins and looks really, really strong, Jay has to lose, and for
yeah.
him to obviously continue this story of falling in line.
I think the last two people in the match, if it comes down to like one apiece, to each team, last person for Raw, AJ Styles, and the last person for SmackDown, Jey Uso.
Yeah, I definitely think Jey Uso is going to be at the end here. Obviously, his performances lately have been fantastic, and he deserves it.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah, I'm interested in this card though. I think as much as it's been different from the previous years, they haven't obviously had the everyone brawling through the locker room stuff. And they've kept that they
yeah,
kept the kind of interaction to a minimum, so it has made you kind of build up more some of this stuff. And so yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
well, that Survivor Series, the matches anyway. So obviously, last but not least, we must obviously give a word here. Obviously,
The
it's the final
retirement of the
farewell.
Undertaker.
It has a retirement. It's a final farewell. We don't know what that means.
Ugh,
But
don't know.
the name. There's a lot of people obviously linked towards this. We imagine that Triple H should be involved, and we see Shawn Michaels. Savio Vega's been confirmed to being there. The Godfather. I guess Vince might make an appearance of some kind. But yeah, this is big.
Possibly so.
This is big. I mean, so we're going to end this episode. Let's just talk. Let's just talk about our favourite Undertaker moment or match. What's yours?
I'll do two things here. The moment is I remember watching the clip. Now I was too young to remember this, but I've seen the clip over the years, and it's the clip from the Royal Rumble in 1993 when he lost the casket match to Yokozuna, and on the screen they show him inside the casket. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Coming to life, and then he ascended up into the rafters, that kind of thing. So that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment, I think.
yeah, yeah.
And the Undertaker matchup, I would say the first time he faced Kane at WrestleMania 14.
Yeah,
The
that
build
was
up that,
nice long-term
yeah,
storytelling there by WWE,
yeah.
which
I
they don't
mean,
often do.
it is the greatest story I think WWE's ever done. You know, the whole because and it's lasted. It was originally supposed to be a one-off. You know, the
Yeah.
whole Kane storyline, and it's lasted just for 23 years.
Well,
So
yeah, he's got an entire career of it, really, hasn't he, Kane? Yeah,
yeah,
like I've got so many favourite moments from Undertaker, so many favourite matches and that. But I guess the one I'm going to go to as kind of a default is him against Michaels at Mania 25. Just
yeah.
absolute, just exhaustion of a match, and the efforts they put in were just phenomenal. And they did it again the next year, which was just
I know.
so
Usually, try and top that is quite difficult.
But look,
Yeah,
however it ends with this, I am hoping he's retired, and that's what he's saying coming to announce. But we never know. It is the
we
world
shall
of
see.
WWE,
Yeah.
and there's always a Saudi paycheck ready to be taken. Let us know your thoughts on the news and on your Survivor Series predictions, and of course, what you have to say and think about the legend that is the Undertaker. And don't forget to check out. We had an episode actually on Undertaker. Our series 1 finale of Talking Crap was all about the Undertaker, and so many moments and memories were put into that. So check that out on the channel also. We'll be back.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget Demolition is this Thursday, and also on the DKW channel.
Yeah.
Until then, I've been Lucas Jackson. Join my champion Charlie, watching the Gorilla
Thank
Viewpoint.
you.
Thank you and good night.